When discussing page layout within web design, one of the most important things we can do to control how things look and lay out is with something called the box model. And this is an example of the box model. We might have some content in the middle in the orange. That might be an image. That might be some words or a paragraph or something like that. And we can control the width and the height of that object. If we want to put a border around, for example, we want to take a paragraph and put a border around that paragraph, the content that goes in between our border and our content is, that area is called padding. And we'll show you some examples of that. And then we have a margin that basically puts space between our border and the next object. So we might have two paragraphs and we might have some margin that are separating the two of those. One way that you can tell if you have margin or padding applied, because all HTML elements come with the default browser styling with them, and certain ones you might not be aware of. So for example, let's look at this right here, and I'm going to go to inspect inside of Chrome, and it's going to pull this out to the side, and I'm going to hover over my anchor element, and you can see that it's turned the word home to blue. And I hover over my LI, and you can see that it goes all the way across from left to right. And you can hover over my unordered list, and we have three colors that have pulled up here. We have green, we have orange, and we have blue. Now the blue, think of it as our content inside the box model here. Okay, this little area in here. The green is going to be our padding, and the orange in that is going to be our margin. So let's go back and look at that again. And you can see here we do have some margin above and below our unordered list, and we also have some padding applied to our list item itself. And so we can easily change that by selecting the UL and then applying zero margin if we wanted to, or zero padding, or more padding if we wanted to, and things like that. And again, as we kind of scroll around our page, you can see this H1 might have some, no, looks like I zeroed that out. There's some padding there on our main. Do you see that green that kind of goes around everything, and then the blue right there? Now let's go ahead and let's show you how to add some more of that in some different ways than we've learned in the past. Okay, we're going to take our H1 element here, the monkey hut. Okay, and I've taken this margin and I've zeroed it out. Well, let's go through, let's add a border of 1 pixel, solid, and black. Okay, and you can see that now going around in that case. Now again, I've got my header, everything in there centered, so maybe I'm going to just take that off really quick so we can visualize this a little bit better. We've got it against the side here, our H1 in particular. And on this H1, I'm going to apply some padding of 20 pixels. And let's add some margin of 20. Well, 20 pixels is fine. I'll refresh that. And you can see here now, when I right click on and go to inspect, you can see how we have the green and padding. We have a little solid 1 pixel border, and then we have our margin that goes around that. And that's kind of nice. Now, if we wanted to add a specific padding or margin to a specific side, the way we go about doing that in shorthand is like this. So we're going to go, let's do padding first, and we're going to put in 20 pixels there, and then I'm going to put in 10 pixels next. And what that stands for is top and bottom for the first and left and right for the second. And so when I refresh that, you can see the sides, the left and right. It's kind of hard over here to visualize it, but it does go all the way across. And again, you can always inspect that, and then you can just hover over and you can see where that green only goes 10 pixels while the green above and below goes 20. Okay, so it is showing up there even though it might be hard to see with that inspect on. Now if we have 3 items, okay, we got 20 pixels, we got 10 pixels, and we have 5. What that does is the first one, 20 pixels, is above, 10 pixels is left and right, and 5 is below. And then if we do, let's do 40 pixels for this one. I want you to think about this like a clock. So that is 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. And that's how the sides look when that's shown up. And you can see the 40 pixels over here, the 20 pixels here. You can't really see this, but then the 5 pixels there. Now margins work exactly the same. Okay, so if you want to shorthand all of those, you can do that. And you can see our margins have all changed on either side. And again, I could do another inspect and show you how those work. Another way we can do this and be more specific is saying something like margin dash top or dash bottom or left or right, things like that. And so if I wanted to do like a margin bottom, 20 pixels, that would do 20 pixels down. And you probably saw that menu knock down just a little bit. We can also do that with padding. We could do like a padding dash bottom and do 20 pixels. And we'll get padding underneath and not on the sides. Now when discussing border, this goes a little bit more in depth as far as shorthands go, but what we can do is we can say border dash bottom and then give it like the 1 pixel solid black, and that would put the one border on the bottom, as you can see. And we can do a top and we can do a left and right and things like that. We can also do a border dash style, and then we can say it's going to be dashed for the top, dotted, and then solid and none. And again, that kind of works like we did it before. So that would be the top, that would be the right, that would be the bottom, that would be the left. And so you can do a border dash style, border dash width, and border dash color. Now you got to have all three of those in order for it to work. Just like if we have border dash bottom or something like that, we must have the width of it, the type it is, and the color. And if you forget one of those, one, I don't think it will validate, but two, the border really won't show up. So that's how that works, and it's just an easier way to change some of the properties of margins, of padding, and of borders.